Korea's e-commerce industry has rapidly increased in recent years. Its annual sales volume is now about 80 trillion won, accounting for more than 30% of Korea's retail sales. Propelled by the recent success of Amazon.com and the growth potential in the domestic market, Korea's e-commerce players are beefing up their businesses. Online retailer Coupang recently announced that it received a 2.2 trillion won investment from business tycoon Masayoshi Son, better known with his Korean name Son Jung-ui for many Koreans. Focusing on its strength in delivery, Coupang declared it would become the Amazon of Korea. Traditional retail giant Shinsegae also announced a plan to become a dominant player online. With a trillion won investment, it is planning to convert its success offline to online. While the stories of new investment are welcome, the future of e-commerce players are not all that rosy. Despite the forecast for rapid growth, there are so many major players competing neck and neck in the market. Hearing news reports about Coupang and Shinsegae, some said it will be a war on who can outspend the competition. Casualties of smaller companies are expected. Customers are curious who will be the winner in this ever-changing and rapidly growing market in 5 or 10 years from now. In the meantime, they will be able to enjoy more benefits that fierce competition brings. The rapidly growing Korea's e-commerce market is forecasted to reach 100 trillion won in sales soon. So I said the e-commerce market is forecasted to reach 100 trillion won. We use forecast for weather. So if you look at the weather forecast, it's going to rain. But we use it also in finance. It means a prediction. So what people analyze, what's going to happen with the numbers. How much money do you think we will make or even lose? That is also called a forecast. So we use it as a noun and a verb. In the near future, 100 trillion won in sales is expected for the e-commerce market in Korea. So I said in the near future. And the near future is kind of an unspecific way of saying soon. It could be in the next couple days, it could be in the next couple years, weeks, or months, but we use it as an unspecific measurement of time when we say in the near future. The e-commerce market is seeing a dramatic uptick of more people using their smartphones for shopping. So I said the market is seeing a dramatic uptick. So if something's dramatic, it could be quite extreme or a very big change. And an uptick is kind of when something moves upward. So more and more people are using their smartphone. That's an uptick. So a dramatic uptake is like a very big, extreme portion of the market are more smartphones than less smartphones. Also, you could alternatively say downtick would be the opposite of uptick. The use of mobile shopping has rocketed and is a huge portion of the total e-commerce market. So I said the use of mobile shopping has rocketed. So you think of like a rocket or missile. It shoots up very quickly, very high angle. So if you're looking at your stock, one day it's worth $10 a share. The next day it's worth $100 a share. That stock rocketed. So we use it when we talk about numbers. So if a number usually on a chart has jumped up dramatically, we would say it has rocketed. Brick and mortar stores as well as online retailers are trying to keep up in this ever-expanding market. So at first I said brick and mortar stores. A brick and mortar store or brick and mortar location refers to any physical building where you have to go walk in and buy something. So a supermarket is a brick and mortar store. If you go to Uniqlo, it's a brick and mortar store. So it also can refer to warehouses and storage areas. But brick and mortar, it's literally the stone brick, and mortar means cement. But we say brick and mortar as an offline location. So in this world of online, there are fewer and fewer brick and mortar stores. They are closing down. So everything is going online. And then I said they're trying to keep up in this ever expanding market. So if something is ever expanding, it just keeps growing. So for example, the theory is that space, outer space is ever expanding. It just keeps going. There's no end to it. So as we see the growth of this online market, we would say it's ever expanding because we don't really have a prediction of when it will stop or slow down. Retail stores and online shopping websites are trying not to be left behind in this competitive market. So to leave behind, if you forgot your umbrella at your house, you left it behind. But also, if someone is being left behind, it means they are not able to catch up. So when we talk about people in a market like the online retail world, if you are not making enough money and the other big companies are, you're kind of being left behind. You cannot catch up to be successful. So we use it for something physical, but also when we talk about people who are not as successful in markets, they are being left behind. As the industry grows, so will the amount of financially dominant companies. These companies will be able to outspend the competition, which will force smaller companies to exit the market. So I said the financially dominant companies. If you're financially dominant, that means you have a lot more money to spend than your competition. So you can spend a lot more marketing on advertising, marketing than the smaller companies cannot. And I said these companies will be able to outspend the competition. So these companies can pour millions of dollars into making their website look better, to advertising online, offline, and that's outspending your competition. So the other companies cannot spend as much. And unfortunately, if they do, they will go out of business because they've spent too much on improving their product. And it said it will force smaller companies to exit the market. If you exit the market, it's kind of like you've quit. You've dropped out. I know you can use exit as a doorway to leave a building, but to exit the market just means to leave. So companies can do it as well. A war of attrition is expected as larger companies will use their power and resources to dominate smaller companies in the market. So I mentioned a war of attrition, or we say attrition warfare. We use it in war. Also, it's in game theory. But when we talk about it with companies, it means one company will use more and more resources, and that forces the smaller company to use all of their resources. And in the end, the smaller company will go out of business. So when the dominant force uses its power and resources to destroy and force a smaller force to fight. And that's what we say, war of attrition or attrition warfare. Thanks, guys. Thanks for downloading. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.